AITA for cutting my friend after she pretended to be me? You ever meet someone who just clicks with your soul? I'm not talking about romance, though I wish it were that simple. I'm talking about that rare, electric kind of friendship where every conversation feels like it was waiting to happen, like the universe tied your paths together with red string and a group project from hell. That was Lexi. We met during freshman orientation at St. Albans College, one of those leafy, brick-laden campuses that tries really hard to look like an ivy but smells like ramen and regret. Our bond sparked over a mutual hatred for our Communications 101 group project and a shared obsession with peach-flavored energy drinks. At first, it was innocent. We were dorm neighbors, late-night snack enablers, and unofficial therapists for each other's academic meltdowns. She was charming, loud in the best way, a walking main character moment. I was the quieter half. Observant. A little neurotic. Prone to overthinking but great at proofreading texts before you send them to your crush. Together? We were unstoppable. We had traditions. Sunday brunches at Penny's Diner. Cry watching old Disney Channel shows. Planned spontaneity nights where we'd get dressed up, pretend to be British, and crash open mic nights. We weren't just best friends. We were each other's people. And for a long time, I thought that meant forever. But here's the thing about soulmates, sometimes, they don't arrive to complete you. Sometimes, they come to consume you. I first noticed it when she borrowed my hoodie. It was just a gray oversized Columbia pullover I wore when I was too tired to be a person. She asked if she could wear it after spilling soy sauce on hers during our 4 a.m. sushi binge. Don't ask, and of course, I said yes. That's what friends do. She forgot to give it back. No big deal. Until she started wearing it constantly, posting selfies in it, tagging me like it was some cute best friend aesthetic moment. Okay. Still fine. We're close. Then came the shoes. I had these white platform sneakers, not designer or anything, but I'd saved up for weeks waitressing to get them. They were mine. Lexi suddenly showed up wearing an identical pair to brunch. Twinsies, she squealed. I laughed, but something in my stomach turned. The kind of laugh you force when you don't want to sound crazy. But hey, maybe I was being dramatic, right? Except it kept happening. New haircut? She'd booked the same cut coincidentally 2 days later. New hobby? She'd suddenly be so into it, like it was something we'd always shared. I joined a hot yoga studio. She signed up and claimed she'd been meaning to get into it for years. I got a gold necklace with my zodiac sign. She got one the next week, same font, just hers. At some point, my entire life started to feel like a Pinterest board, and Lexi was repping everything. Here's the real kicker. One day, I updated my Instagram bio. Nothing major, just a little curated snapshot of me. Round pushpin city name dog mom, latte addict, future psychologist dizzy. I posted it before class, sat through 90 minutes of abnormal psych, grabbed a macchiato, and popped open my phone again. Lexi had changed her bio. To mine. Word. 4. Word. I stared at it for a full minute, scrolling up, down, refreshing like maybe my brain was buffering. Maybe it was a weird glitch. But no, there it was. The city. The dog mom. The lattes. Even the future psychologist bit, which made zero sense because Lexi wasn't even in psych. She was a communications major who once asked if Freud was the one who invented anxiety. And still, there it was. My identity. Staring back at me from her profile like it belonged to her now. I texted her something light, like hey lol love the bio eyes, just to see what she'd say. She replied. OMG. Great minds. Face with tears of joy, we really are the same person, haha. That's when I knew something was off. Something deeper. This wasn't just about clothes or brunch or bios. It was about me, or more accurately, Lexi's obsession with being me. I started taking mental notes. How she started using my phrases. Emotional hangover, soft launching a vibe, feral girl autumn. All mine. All co-opted. She even started ordering my exact coffee order down to the oat milk and the extra shot of vanilla. I stopped wearing certain outfits just to see if she'd pick up on them. Like clockwork, a week later, she'd show up in something similar. I brought it up gently once, joked that she was turning into me. She laughed, too loud. What can I say? You've got great taste, babe. But it wasn't funny anymore. It was eerie. And it wasn't just online or in our apartment. Friends started mixing us up. Even my own boyfriend once asked if I'd posted something, only to realize it was on her feed. I'd walk into rooms where she'd already been and feel like I'd just missed a version of myself. A Lexi-shaped echo of me. You know when you try to convince yourself someone's behavior isn't weird? Like, maybe they just really admire you. Maybe it's flattering. Maybe you're being paranoid. That's where I was with Lexi. After the Instagram bio debacle, I took a deep breath, did a little grounding exercise, and told myself she was just enthusiastic. Some people have intense personalities. I'm not gonna be the jerk who pathologizes friendship. Right? Right? Wrong. Because what started as mimicry turned into infiltration. OP doesn't like sushi. It started with little moments, those kinds of things you notice but don't know how to call out without sounding unhinged. We were at a dinner with friends, one of those everyone orders for the table and pretends they're cool with sharing kind of nights. The waiter came around and someone suggested sushi. I said, perfect, I've been craving a dragon roll all week. And Lexi, without missing a beat, laughed and said, oh, OP doesn't like sushi. Everyone turned to me. I blinked. Yeah, I do? She laughed again. No, remember? You said raw fish freaks you out. That was from 3 years ago, before I discovered the magic of spicy mayo and tempura crunch. She knew this. She watched me eat a dragon roll last week like it owed me money. I brushed it off. Maybe she was just confused. But it kept happening. No, actually, that happened in 2019. Lexi started inserting herself into my stories, not just as a participant, but as the narrator. We were at a party, and I was telling a story about the time I got stranded on the wrong train line in Chicago during a snowstorm. I was halfway through the part where a kind stranger gave me hand warmers when Lexi jumped in. No, that was 2019. Remember? You were visiting your cousin, not your aunt. I blinked. First of all, it was 2020. Second, I wasn't visiting anyone. It was a solo trip. Third, and I cannot stress this enough, this story happened to me. She wasn't even there. But Lexi said it with the confidence of a Wikipedia citation. And my friends? They just nodded along, because she said it like it was fact. Like she knew me better than I did. That night, I went home and cried in the shower. Which sounds dramatic, I know. But when someone starts rewriting your memories, not just copying your bio or outfits, it messes with your sense of self in a way that's hard to explain. Then came the incidents. Plural. It started small, Lexi letting herself into my apartment using the emergency key I gave her back in college. At first, it was for things like borrowing a charger or dropping off food. I didn't mind. Much. But then she stopped texting first. I'd come home to find her on my couch, feet up, watching my Netflix, logged into my profile, eating my Trader Joe's snacks. She'd wave like it was normal. One time she said, oh, I figured you wouldn't mind, I brought wine. It was a $6 bottle of Barefoot Moscato. Warm. Lexi, babe. This isn't a sorority mixer. You don't get to violate personal boundaries and pay in sugar wine. I tried to talk to her about it, but she laughed it off. I practically live here, she joked. And that was becoming alarmingly true. The breaking point came on a random Thursday night. I'd had a hellish day, a pop quiz in my stats class, a migraine brewing behind my eyes, and a spilled coffee in my tote bag situation. All I wanted was a hot shower, my softest sweatpants, and to disassociate while watching The Great British Bake Off. I opened my apartment door and stopped cold. Music. Laughter. Voices. I stepped inside, and there they were, my friends. My couch. My living room. And Lexi, standing in the middle like some kind of deranged Pinterest hostess, slicing brie onto crackers like Martha Stewart in A Stolen Body. "OP," she squealed, like I was the one crashing her night. Surprise. Wine and cheese night. I blinked. Looked around. Every single person in that room was someone I had introduced to Lexi. People from my classes. My book club. My life. I hadn't been invited. Not a text. Not a call. Nothing. She turned to my friend Julia and laughed. I knew she'd love it once she got here. She always needs a little push to be social. The room laughed. I felt like a ghost in my own apartment. I didn't say anything that night. I smiled. I faked chewed lukewarm cheddar. I laughed when appropriate. But something inside me snapped, not with a bang, but with a slow, bone-deep crack. Lexi wasn't just copying me anymore. She was replacing me. Erasing me. Like a shapeshifter trying to crawl into my skin, one stolen outfit, one misquoted memory, one uninvited party at a time. And the scariest part? No one seemed to notice. So, a few months ago, I landed a coveted interview for a media marketing associate position at this boutique agency downtown. Sleek office, skyline views, dog-friendly, actual free lattes, the whole Pinterest for startup fantasy. I'd spent weeks prepping. I researched the company, practiced my STAR method answers, even redid my portfolio to match their brand aesthetic. I was ready. The day before the big interview, I met Lexi for coffee. Because despite everything, the outfit mimicry, the accidental house invasions, the unofficial autobiography she was ghostwriting through me, I still wanted to believe we were friends. Or salvageable. Or something. We grabbed lavender oat lattes. I told her about the role. I showed her the company website, the founder's TED Talk, even my updated resume. She smiled, wide-eyed. "This is so perfect for you, babe. You're gonna kill it." I believed her. That was my first mistake. Fast forward to the next morning. I arrived 15 minutes early because I'm one of those cursed punctual people whose anxiety won't allow anything less. The receptionist gave me a polite but strained smile and checked her screen. Then I hear her mumble, almost to herself. "Are you sure this is the right Lexi? We already had someone interview for OP's name, S position this morning." Cue that glitch in the matrix feeling. I laughed nervously. "Oh no, I'm OP's name. There must be a mix-up." She blinked. Tilted her head. "Wait, but someone already came in this morning for the 9 a.m. slot. She said she was you. Lexi something?" The air left my lungs like someone had punched me with a pillow full of betrayal. "Lexi?" I asked. "Yeah," she said. She seemed really prepared. I was too stunned to process it properly in the moment. I gave a half-baked explanation, something about identity confusion, best friends, maybe caffeine hallucinations, and politely excused myself from the building like a woman who had just watched her own reflection walk away with her future. Then I did what any unhinged but still technically stable adult would do. I stormed to Lexi's apartment. She opened the door wearing my old blazer. The one I wore to my last interview. "Hey, what's up?" she asked, all nonchalance, like she hadn't just tried to assume my identity like some off-brand Tom Ripley. I stared at her. "You went to my interview. You pretended to be me." She didn't even flinch. "I knew the receptionist would talk," she said, like she was disappointed in the receptionist. Not, in herself. "Lexi. What the actual hell?" She shrugged, like this was some minor misunderstanding at a brunch reservation. I just wanted to see if I could do it, she said, like a 6-year-old trying on their mom's heels. You're so successful. It was kind of a social experiment. A what? A social experiment, she repeated. Like, how far could I get just being you? I even practiced her tone, you know that thing you do when you're being diplomatic but also firm? She mimicked it. I watched her do me. And something inside me broke. You think this is flattering? I asked, stunned. Lady, this isn't a BuzzFeed quiz called Which Friend Are You? This is my career. My actual life. She pouted. You're overreacting. I could only laugh, one of those bitter, dry laughs that sounds more like a scream with the edges sanded off. Lexi didn't get it. Worse, she refused to. She saw her performance as a compliment. As if wanting to wear my skin was somehow the highest form of love. But this wasn't love. This was erasure. I reported her to the company, of course. They were sympathetic but weirded out, and I don't blame them. The hiring manager gently told me they'd need to take a pause on this process for now. Translation, I lost the job. Because of her. Lexi texted me later that night. No hard feelings? Red heart still love you. I didn't respond. Because at that point, I realized, she didn't just want my clothes, my words, my apartment, or even my friends. She wanted me, down to the bones. And she didn't care what had to be destroyed in the process. I'm not usually a drama person. I don't air dirty laundry. I don't rage post. I don't write vague captions like, Karma's watching face blowing a kiss, or some of y'all forgot who I am. But after Lexi tried to identity swipe me into career oblivion? Yeah. It was time for a little main character energy. First order of business, the locks. Lexi still had a key. The emergency key I gave her back in college when we were naive and obsessed with the idea of being each other's ride or die. That key had opened my home, my fridge, my personal space, and my life, for way too long. So I changed the locks. Swiftly. Quietly. With enough satisfaction to make a locksmith blush. Next, removing her from every group chat, event invite, shared calendar, and Spotify blend. Yes, even the one we made during the pandemic called Quarantunes and Wine Crimes. Gone. Deleted. Blocked on Instagram, Snapchat, BeReal, Venmo, and even Goodreads. She wasn't just excommunicated. She was ex-algorithmed. I knew our friend group would be confused. Lexi had spent years weaving herself into my life like a well-dressed parasite. People saw us as a pair. So I dropped a digital PSA in our group chat. Not a rant. Not a roast. Just facts. Hey everyone. Just so you're not confused, Lexi and I are no longer in contact. Please don't give her access to my schedule, my whereabouts, or any shared resources. I won't go into details, but boundaries have been crossed in ways that are beyond repair. Thanks for respecting my space. Short. Controlled. Devastating. Lexi, naturally, responded the way any mature adult would, by subtweeting me on Instagram like a 14-year-old with a side bang. That same night, Lexi posted a black and white selfie, slightly blurry, deeply moody, captioned, "Some people can't handle being truly seen." Woman shrugging. Girl. What is this? A deleted scene from Euphoria? Let's get one thing straight. I don't want to be seen by you. I want to be left alone by you. And not in a poetic, soul journey kind of way. I mean like legally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, logistically, detached. But Lexi wasn't done. While I was moving on, Lexi was building a narrative. She told our mutual friends, OP just misunderstood everything. I was trying to help her prep for the interview. She's always so nervous about those. Yes. Helping me prep, by stealing my resume, showing up in my outfit, and impersonating me at a real job interview. That's not helping. That's fraud cosplay. But here's the thing about manipulative people, they're charming. Charisma with a knife behind the back. And Lexi? She was excellent at sounding like the wrong party. She's just always been so sensitive, she said, according to one friend. She thought I was copying her, but I was just inspired, she told another. We were so close, our identities got blurry, she whispered like she was narrating a sad French film. I half expected her to show up to a brunch wearing my face like she'd borrowed it for the weekend. Our social circle did what most do in these situations, splintered like a dollar store wine glass. Some friends DM'd me privately. I'm so sorry. I had no idea. That's seriously scary. You don't deserve that. I always got weird vibes from her tbh. Others? Radio silence. Or worse, gentle suggestions that I was overreacting. She just really admired you. I think she's going through something. Maybe you guys could talk it out? Sure. Let me grab some chamomile tea and we'll chat about how she tried to Freaky Friday her way into my LinkedIn. Here's the truth. I don't miss her. I miss the version of her I thought I had. The best friend movie montage girl who danced in my kitchen, helped me pick outfits, and made playlists for my mental breakdowns. But that girl was either never real, or she disappeared somewhere around the time Lexi stopped wanting to know me and started trying to be me. So no, I won't talk it out. I won't see her side. I won't let anyone guilt me for protecting my peace. Because sometimes, the scariest people aren't the ones who hate you. They're the ones who love you so much, they want to replace you. So now, after months of therapy, lock-changing, gaslighting, social espionage, Instagram subtweet warfare, and one suspiciously warm bottle of barefoot Moscato, I'm asking the only court that still feels real, Reddit. AITA for completely cutting off my best friend after she tried to literally replace me? Buckle up. Once upon a time, I had a best friend named Lexi. We were close. Like share clothes, emergency contact, knows my Starbucks order kind of close. We met in college and basically fused lives from there. Same classes. Same parties. Same Sunday brunches. Then it got weird. And by weird, I mean single white female, millennial edition. Lexi started borrowing things. Clothes, phrases, mannerisms. At first, it was cute. Endearing, even. Who doesn't rub off a little on their best friend? But then she started mirroring me. Outfits? Duplicated. Haircut? Same one, same day. Instagram bio? Copy-pasted mine word for word, even the dog mom part, she doesn't own a dog. I gently confronted her. She laughed. It's a compliment. Sure. Compliment, con job, potato, psychological warfare. She began correcting me in conversations. Telling people what I liked or didn't like. One time she told a group I hated sushi, while I was literally holding chopsticks. She contradicted my stories. Stories that happened to me. Once she said, actually, that happened in 2019, not 2020, like she was my biographer. It was 2020. She wasn't even there. Then she started inviting people over to my apartment, without asking. Once I walked in and found her hosting a wine and cheese night for my friends. I wasn't invited. She said, I brought wine. Girl. It was $6 Moscato. This is not a ticket to trespass. The actual breaking point? I told her about a huge job opportunity in media marketing. Showed her my resume. Practiced my talking points. The next day, I show up for the interview and overhear the receptionist say, Are you sure this is the right Lexi? We already had someone interview for OP's position this morning. Guess who that was? Lexi. Using my name, my resume, my speaking style, my blazer. She told the company it was a social experiment. That she just wanted to see if she could pull off being me. She called it a compliment. I call it identity theft, and not the kind Dwight Schrute jokes about. I changed the locks. Blocked her on everything short of her Wi-Fi router. Removed her from every group chat and made a polite but firm PSA to mutual friends. She played the victim, of course. She's heartless. She overreacted. I was just helping her prepare. By impersonating me at an actual employer? Then she posted this cryptic story. Some people can't handle being truly seen. Woman shrugging. Ma'am. This isn't Black Swan. I'm not scared of being seen. I just don't want to wake up one day and find you've legally changed your name to mine and started dating my boyfriend. Some friends say I was cruel. That she clearly just admired me. Others, the ones who've had their boundaries tested by her too, said I did the right thing. But here I am, in the emotional ruins of a friendship that once felt like family, asking the one question that's haunted me through every screenshot, every creepy caption, every gaslit group chat. Am I the asshole? Or did Lexi go full doppelganger and deserve the boot?